Hello, everybody. This is your Too Good to Be True podcast. I'm your host, Pascal Mayala, aka Black Leopard, aka Le Maréchal, aka Black Phantom. We got we got some topic to talk about today. So listen up to this podcast right now, and I would say thank you very much. Who's listening my podcast in the U.S., in the UK, in Canada, in Australia, or in France? I would say thank you very much. If you have missed some previous podcast that I released, you can go on my on Spotify, or you can listen to Apple Podcast. You can listen to it to Google Podcast Manager. You can also listen to Castbox, and also you can also listen to this podcast on Amazon Music. So beware when I release some my podcast on social media. So I will talk about it later. Where you can listen, where you can follow me on social media. But for now, let's talk about the NCAA Tournament March Madness bracket. It has officially released for the men and for the women. So for the bracket for the women, let's start with the woman because this is interesting. So Albin also first bracket from the original one in Albany, not original one in Albany. South Carolina, number one seed, will face between Sacred Heart or Presbyterian on the bracket. The number 2 seed, Notre Dame, they go against number 15 seed, Kent State. Number 3 ranking, Oregon State. They are facing Eastern Washington, who are in the number 14 seed. The number 4, Indiana. They are facing the 13th seed, Fairfield. The 5th seed, Oklahoma, versus the 12th seed, FGCU. The number 6 seed, Nebraska, versus the number 11, Texas A&M. The number 7 seed, the Ole Miss, Mississippi, versus number 10 seed, Marquette. And what else? North Carolina, number 8 seed, are facing Michigan State in the Regional 1, Albany. Now let's look for the Regional 2 in Albany. Ottawa, I have to look for it for Regional 2 because I do have all the seats, but except for the Albany 2, I gotta look for it. Yes, okay, there it is. There it is, people. Iowa, number 1 seed, has to face between the number 16 seed between Holy Cross and UT Mart. Number 2 seed, the UCLA versus California Baptist. Number 3 seed, the LSU versus Rice, the 14th seed, who they are. The number 4 seed, Kansas State, versus the number 13 seed, Portland. 5th seed, Colorado, versus the 12th seed, Drake. The 6th seed, Louisville, versus the number 11 seed, Middle Tennessee. Number 7 seed, the Creighton, versus number 10, UNLV. Sorry, my bad. I apologize for that. Number 8 seed, West Virginia versus number 9 seed, Princeton. This is Albany Region 2. Now let's go to the Portland number 3. Portland number 3. So the number 1 seed, Southern California versus the number 16 seed, A&M Corpus Christian. Number 2 seed, Ohio State versus the number 15 seed, Maine. The 3rd seed, UConn versus the 14th seed, Jackson State. HBCU, I'm proud of you, Jackson State. I'm proud of you. I gotta admit that. I love to see an HBCU in the bracket, in the March Madness. Number 4 seed, Virginia Tech versus the 13th seed, Marshall. 5th seed, Baylor versus Vanderbilt or Columbia. It's between Vanderbilt versus Columbia. These two teams who gotta face each other before they face the Baylor. The number 6 seed, Syracuse. They are going against the number 11 seed between Auburn or Arizona. So be careful, people. Number 7 seed, Duke versus the number 10 seed, Richmond. And finally, number 8, the 8th seed, Kansas versus the number 9 seed, Michigan. Let's go Portland number 4. Portland 4. When I say Portland 4, it's Portland Regional 4. So you saw previous Portland Region number 3. So don't get confused, people. So the number 1 seed, Texas, versus the number 16 seed, Drexel. Number 2 seed, Stanford, versus another HBCU team, Norfolk State. Number 3 seed, North Carolina State versus the number 14 seed, Chattanooga. The number 4 seed, Gonzaga versus the number 13 seed, UC Irvine. The number 5 seed, Utah versus the number 12 seed, South Dakota State. The number 6 seed, Tennessee versus the number 11 seed, Green Bay. The number 7 seed, Iowa State versus the number 10 seed, Maryland. And finally, number 8 seed, Alabama versus the number 9, Florida State. So those are the March Madness team who are going to be against, with the exception of what I said, the Albany Regional 1, the number 16 seed in the Albany Regional 1, and Albany Regional 2, the 16 seed, like I said, and the Portland Regional number 12 seed, number 12 seed, and number 11 seed. Same thing with the, only those regional, what I said, regional, Albany Regional 1, Albany Regional number 2, Albany Regional number 3. So what match do you think I'm most excited? You know, like I said, I would love to see HBCU, Jackson State. I believe Jackson State, like I said, they're against UConn. Yes, they are against UConn. If I look at it very, very closely, I don't want to. Yes, against UConn. You know, it will be interesting. What else is going to be interesting? Jackson State, UConn, Norfolk versus Stanford. Pretty good game will be. I mean, there's a lot of great game, and there's a lot of storyline we could talk about with the women college basketball. What's the storyline for the women basketball? Can Iowa State go back to the NCAA Final Four and win it all? Can Kenny Clark finally win a national college championship? Will LSU be back-to-back championship with injuries in the crew? Can South Carolina, who are undefeated again, back-to-back, can they go back to the Final Four with Don Staley as the head coach? Can UConn bounce back? Can Paige Becker be healthy during the tournament? That's the storyline for the woman. And also the Cinderella story too. Don't forget Cinderella story. They're going to be very important. Which team I'm more excited? Like I said, I'm more excited the HBCU team. So I'll be really be focused on them. On Jackson State and Norfolk State. If anybody from an HBCU who went to an HBCU who love basketball, you better tune in those two matches. Like I said, like I said, Jackson State versus UConn, and Stanford versus Norfolk State. Two teams. Even though you never went there, please support those women basketball players who went to an HBCU. Who, by the way, they were playing in a bracket. Oh yeah, also another storyline. Can Southern California, USC, will bring it to the table? Can they also go to the Final Four? So those questions we have to be asked for the women's basketball team. And that's why I love about the women's basketball college, because they're more excited. They're more exciting to watch, and storyline wise, they're must see TV. Now, let's talk about the men's college basketball. Let's talk about them a little bit. I thought the bracket, like I said, March Madness arrived. Everybody excited for March Madness. I do too, people. I do too. So let's take a little bit of break. Then we talk about the men's basketball team. Welcome back to the Too Good to Be True podcast. I'm your host, Pascal Mayala. If you missed it, if you did not listen to the women college basketball bracket tournament, or let's say this, the women college basketball bracket. So don't worry. When I was done, I will release it on every stream that you can find, and enjoy listening. So for the men NCAA tournament, so let's start to the West. Let's start to the West. Actually, let's start to the East. Number one. My bad. Sorry, my bad. Let's go. Let's go East Coast. Then we go East, West, South, and Midwest. So let's start to the East. So the number one seed, UConn. This is the man basketball now. Do not get confused with a woman. So, sorry. In the East, for the man NCAA tournament for 2024. Number one seed, UConn versus the number 16 seed, Stetson. The number 2 seed, Iowa State versus the number 15 seed, South Dakota State. The third seed, Illinois versus the number 14 seed, Morehead State. The number 4 seed, Auburn versus the number 13 seed, Yale. The number 5th seed, San Diego State versus the number 12th seed, UAB. The number 6 seed, BYU versus the number 11th seed, Duquesne. Yeah. Excuse me my pronunciation. And not finally, but the number 7 seed, Washington State versus the number 10 seed, Drake. Not Drake the rapper, people. Don't get confused. Not Drake the rapper. The rapper. Drake the college. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And finally, the number 8 seed, the FAU versus the number 9 seed, Northwestern. So this is the East. Now, like we said, let's go to the West. The number 1 seed, North Carolina, has to face one of those two teams of the 16 seed between Howard and Wagner. So don't get confused. So the numbers, North Carolina had to wait to see who they're going to face between Howard or Wagner. The number 2 seed, Arizona versus the number 15 seed, Long Beach State. The number 3rd seed, Baylor versus the number 14 seed, Colgate. The number 14 seed, Alabama versus the number 13 seed, Charleston. The number 5th seed, St. Mary's versus the number 12 seed, Grand Canyon. The number 6 seed, Clemson versus the number 11, New Mexico. And finally, actually not finally, just kidding. The number 7 seed, Dayton versus the number 10 seed, Nevada. And finally, the number 8 seed, Mississippi State versus number 9 seed, Michigan State. So this is the West right now. Let's go to the South. So, the number 1 seed, Houston, versus the number 16 seed, Longwood. The number 2 seed, Marquette, versus the number 15 seed, Western Kentucky. The number 3rd seed, Kentucky, versus the number 14 seed, Oakland. The number 4th seed, Duke, versus the number 13 seed, Vernon. The number 5th seed, Wisconsin, versus the number 12, James Madison. The number 6 seed, Texas Tech, versus the number 11, North Carolina State. And finally, number 7 seed, Florida, had to wait They have to wait to find out who they're going to be against. I believe if I try to look for it, Florida. Let me look at the Florida a little bit. Yes, Florida. They had to wait to see who they're gonna face between Boise State and versus Colorado. So they have to wait. So this is your South Regional. Now let's go to the Midwest. Let's go to the Midwest, people. So, the number one seed, Purdue, they have to wait to see who they will be against. Grambling versus Montana State. They have to wait, people. So, the number 2 seed, Tennessee, versus number 15 seed, St. Peter's. The number 3 seed, Creighton, versus the number 14 seed, Akron. The number 4 seed, Kansas, versus the number 13 seed, Stanford. Not Stanford, but Stanford. The number 5 seed, Gonzaga, versus the number 12 seed, Magnesis. The number 6 seed, South Carolina, versus the number 11, Oregon. So, the number 7 seed, Texas, they have to wait to see who they're going to be against. They have to wait who they're going to face between Virginia versus Colorado State. So they have to wait to see. And finally, number 8 seed, Utah State versus the number 9 seed, TCU. So, those are the bracket for the NCAA men's college basketball. I gotta say this. I'm okay with it. I'm pretty much okay. If you want to ask me which match I look forward to, actually, I always go to root for HBCU underdog. I want to see Howard versus Wagner, and I want to see Montana State versus Grambling. That's my HBCU team that I want to really focus on. But if I had to look which team I would love to watch, it's Mississippi State versus Michigan State. The number 8 seed versus the number 9 seed in the West. The West Regional. Personally. And if you ask me in the Midwest, which team I would love to are looking for to watch, maybe Utah State versus TCU. Maybe South Carolina versus Oregon. There's no really match that I'm interested in the Midwest. But I know what 2 match I want to see. I'm looking forward to. It's what is it? Where is it? I have to look for it. What is it? Texas Tech versus North Carolina State, in my opinion. And in the East, I'll pick an underdog team. I want to see 2 teams I don't know much about. FAU and Northwestern. So this is my team I want to watch, to look at, that I'm very interested to see. So I'm pretty happy to look at, to look forward to. So March Madness is here. If you love college basketball, this is for you. Let's take a little bit of break. Then we will talk about the NFL. Hey, welcome back to the Too Good to Be True podcast. I am your host, Pascal Mayala. Now, let's talk about the NFL. Because that was in the topic. Justin Field. He was released from the Bears. Actually, not released. He was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers for, I believe, for a couple of draft picks. I'm gonna look at it right now. For from information, I will look for it for the information. Justin Field got traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right, I'm gonna look for it. Hold on. This computer sometimes can read. Hold on. Yes. Just like I said, Justin Field has been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a couple of draft picks, and I see people have some mixed feeling about this, and I'm not one of those people. When we said about Justin Field, and we knew that Justin Field will be traded. It's not a matter of how. It's a matter of when. And don't forget, Justin Field is still in his rookie deal. So, what did I think about the trade? If you look at on my Twitter account, I said something. On my Twitter that I said I'm surprised, but not surprised at all. Because remember, Justin Field, where he wanted to go. He wanted to go to Atlanta because I believe he's from not far from Atlanta, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But he's from Georgia. And guess what happened? The Falcons chose Kirk Cousins instead of Justin Field. I mean, what other choice he has to do? Because now they have the Pittsburgh Steelers has released Kenny Pickett and has signed the Philadelphia Eagles signed Kenny Pickett to be a backup QB, which was I'll say the first 2 year was a complete failure. to me, in my opinion. But it is what it is, But let's talk about Justin. This is not about the Kenny Pickett. This is about Justin Fields. What did I thought? I wasn't surprised at all. Because, number one, he's playing with the best organization of all time, the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2, Mike Tomlin will groom him. Will make him a better QB quarterback than he was with the Chicago Bears. And third and foremost, he's going to sit and watch Russell Wilson how to study, how to be prepared. So that is a good sign for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he can watch and learn how Russell Wilson going to be prepared for the near future, because I do not see Russell Wilson as their plan. What I mean about that plan, I mean plan for the future. So Justin Fields can learn from him very quickly for the couple of years nearby in the future that he's going to be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the near future. Because with Russell Wilson getting up there in age, and Justin Fields sitting on the bench, watching and learning how to prepare. Just like, I'll give an example. And I'll give it a great example. Remember Jameis Winston? Jameis Winston, former quarterback for my backup Saints. But before he was a backup for the Saints, he was a starter for the Buccaneers. Remember that? I don't know how much I believe he stayed 4 or 5 years with the Buccaneers as the head start as a starter for the QB. And we saw the result with him. And I think he wasn't that good. The problem is he wasn't prepared. So that's why you saw 20 touchdowns and I believe a 30 touchdown and 30 interception. First time to do it. He got released for the Buccaneers. Tom Brady fell into his place, replaced him. Jameis Winston is the backup for my New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees. He sat there, watched how Drew Brees prepared, studied the game, learning the game to prepare himself to be a better QB. Once Drew Brees retired, Jameis Winston took his place as the starting QB. And like I said, I thought he was pretty good right before the injury. If you know what I mean. I'm not saying that Justin Fields is Jameis Winston. What I'm trying to say is that Justin Fields will have a lot of learning to do with Russell Wilson. To watch him, prepare himself, and be the next future QB for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's a win for me. But when I heard, I was listening to Nightcap with Unc, Shannon Sharp, and Chad Ochocinco. They said something interesting, and I was thinking about it. I said, man, maybe, they're tripping. They're tripping. But when I look back, I think they do have a point. They should have traded Justin Field last season. Last season in the 2022 season. If they know he wasn't that good. So that way they could probably draft like a CJ Stroud or a Bryce Young. But they didn't. They waited it. So that's their opinion. My opinion is that I think they did the right thing to do. And it's a win for the Steelers. Now, what does do for the Bears? Because I'm not just going to talk about Justin Field. We have to talk about the Bears. So what is that supposed to mean for the Bears? Well, before that, Justin Field. Before I talk about the Chicago Bears, Justin Field had tweeted it. If you haven't seen it, he said on his tweet, and I quote, "Can't say thank you enough to the city of Chicago for taking me in and embracing me. Thank you to the entire Bears organization and ownership for allowing me the opportunity to be part of such a historic franchise. But most of all, thank you to all my brothers that I play with. You all were the reason I attacked each day the way I did. I can't thank you all enough for what y'all have meant to me over the last 3 years through the ups and downs. I wish each one of you nothing but success, ready for this next chapter." Oh, that's a great guy. That's a great guy, Justin Field. If he was my QB for the Saints, I mean, you guys gonna love him. I love Justin Field, man. I wish nothing the best for him. I want to see him succeed. But let's talk about with the Bears right now. What is that supposed to mean now that they got traded him for the to the Steelers? What that's supposed to mean that they have the number 1 seed, so they can draft Caleb Williams if he is good, which I saw some game. He's pretty good. Adding Keenan Allen, adding a lot of other pieces around him. How the Bears will be good with Caleb Williams as that number 1 draft pick with the Chicago Bears, if they drafted him. We don't know until we'll see. All the pieces that the Bears have, like DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen. What's it's going to be like for them in the regular season? Are they a contender? No. Are they a Super Bowl championship? No. But we can say this. They're starting to build. They're starting to rise a little. Not rise, but starting to build a little bit. So, do I think that the Bears will be a contender? No. So I don't know where what's gonna happen with the Bears, but so we will see the future. We will see. So what other news we can see? What other news that I want to talk about? We talk about the men basketball, women's college basketball, Justin Field. And let's talk about another NFL player, Mike Williams. Mike Williams, he's gonna visit the Steelers in the free agency. Not also the Steelers, but the Jets, the Chargers, and the Panthers. So, if I'm Mike Williams, where do I think I want to sign? Do I sign with a rebuilding team such as the Panther? And I hate to say this, it's probably the worst division, the NFC South. Even though I'm a Saints fan, don't blame me, people. Or he can go to a contender like the Steelers, the Jets, and the Chargers. If I'm Mike Williams, I will see and wait what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to offer me, what the Jets going to offer me, and what the Chargers are going to offer me. Maybe the Panthers too, but maybe those three teams that I said, Steelers, Jets, and the Chargers. And you know he got released for the Chargers, by the way. Funny enough. But if the Chargers don't want to pay him, go look around, look into the Jets and the Steelers. That's the only two teams I can see. The Panther, I don't see it. So that's I gotta say about that. So, other thing we want to talk about is the NBA. It's got nothing to do with trade. It's got nothing to do with with the free agency, whatever it is. Oh, actually, the playoff. Let's talk about the game. Dallas Mavericks versus the. If you haven't seen the game, I don't worry. I'll give you the score. I'm just gonna give you the score because I had like 16 minutes to talk about. So the Dallas Mavericks versus the Nuggets. Congratulations to the Dallas Mavericks, which I watched, by the way. Fantastic game, great game. Watching the back and forth. What is it? The top scorer, Michael Porter Jr. with 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. The top player for the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic, with close to a triple double, by the way. No, actually not close to a triple double. 37 point, 10 rebound, and 3 assists, which was a great game. I love that game. And with the buzzer beater, Kyrie Irving, like a floater. Oof. I've never been shocked like that to see this game. The Suns versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee 140 points versus the Suns 129 points. Their top scorer, Grayson Allen with 25 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 assists. Kevin Durant went to a night off. I mean, he got 11 points. I mean, he was frustrated. He was very frustrated in this game. Versus the Milwaukee Bucks, Damian Lillard with 31 points, 16 assists. Man, that was an okay game. I was a little bit disappointed. Now they're tied the series 1-1, so I'm not surprised about that. Detroit versus the Miami Heat. Miami Heat won by 3 points. By 3 points. Thanks to a buzzer beater from Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo. I like that name. Bam Adebayo by 20 points. 17 rebounds and 3 assists. Versus the Detroit Pistons of Kane Cunningham with 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 9 assists. Like I said, buzzer beater. They won the game. The Raptors against the Magic. Magic won against my Raptors. It's not good. It's not a good year for my Raptors. It's not a good year for my Raptors. So, the top scorer of the team, Gary Trent Jr. with 50 points, 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Versus Orlando Paolo Banchero, 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. The top scorer, like I mentioned, top scorer. What else? Boston Celtics squash the Washington Wizards, 113 to 104 against the Washington Wizards, and both Jason Tatum and who else? Sam Husser with each 30 points. 30 points. So for the Wizard, Jordan Poole with 31 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists. I don't think Kyle Kuzma played, but I think he was injured. So and finally the Spurs versus the Nets, overtime. Actually, not finally, but overtime. Spurs win 122 points to 115 points against the Nets. Top scorers for the Brooklyn Nets, Cam Thomas with 31 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. Versus the scorer for the Spurs, I believe Victor Wembanyama, 33 points, 50 rebounds, 7 assists. So congratulations to the Spurs. And finally, the Clippers versus the Hawks. Hawks win 110 versus the Clippers 93. So they're about, I believe their top scorer, I believe was Jalen Johnson. Yeah, with Jalen Johnson with no, sorry, not Jalen Johnson. DeJounte Murray, 21 points, 10 assists, and 2 rebounds. Versus the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, 28 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. The top scorer, and I think that's it for the day, for the game, for the basketball. Now, before I let you go, I want to talk about the Draya and Jalen Green relationship and let's talk about that before I leave. I was pretty surprised that people are talking about this too much. And to me, personally, it doesn't really bother me because, look, yes, she's a celebrity, and celebrities hang out with celebrity people. Celebrity people date with celebrity people. Celebrity woman a date celebrity man. So what's new about this? But the problem that I see people have with this relationship is that Draya, she's 39 years old, and Jalen Green is 22 years old. A little bit the same age as Draya previous son, who is 21, I believe. I'm not mistaken. But it's been revealed that she was pregnant to this 20 years old NBA player, Jalen Green. So people who don't know that. And what is my take on it? My thought is, she's allowed to date whatever she wants. I mean, that's her business. If you don't like it, keep quiet. Because we could do the same thing as the man. We do it the same thing. We praise the man who go out with a younger woman who is like 23, 24, 25 years old, or 18 years old. Look at Leonardo DiCaprio. He is he loves to date a younger woman who's like a model. Look at Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. They both pregnant a younger woman. So that thing doesn't really bother me. Leave her alone. And that's her life, you know. And by the way, Draya is a beautiful woman. I gotta admit that. Draya Michelle, she's a beautiful woman. And I know her history. She dated a younger man, and she does have a reputation. I'm not gonna lie, but if we want to hold her accountable, we should hold the men accountable too, who date a younger woman. So that's all I gotta say about that. Just leave them alone. That's what I gotta say about that. So thank you very much for listening to this. Actually, no. I got one more thing to talk about. Just one last thing. During the game versus the Heat and Pistons, the 2004 Detroit Pistons were celebrating the 20-year anniversary of their championship. One of the biggest upset of all time. We seen the team celebrate their 20th anniversary. The one person I did not see is Rasheed Wallace. I don't know why. Why he didn't came out. If the Detroit Pistons have a beef with Rasheed Wallace, they need to let it go. They need to let it go and move on. Please. It's over. I'm happy for the celebration of the 20 year of the championship, so leave them alone, people. So this is a so also, if you don't know, just one last time before I leave. There was a controversy. Not controversy. There was a guy. I don't know what his name is. He said that he went to DJ Academic. He went to a. He actually a guy went to sorry, we got 5 minutes. So there was a guy who said said that she smashed. If you don't know what smash is, like having sex, have sex with Sexy Red. So I'm like, huh, really? You really have sex with Sexy Red, huh? So her response, I don't have it with me. Find her response. She said that you let me smash. You wanted to smash me because you want to lose some virginity, and it's already done. Move on. And you know what? She's absolutely right. You asked for it. You got smashed. You smash Sexy Red. You move on. So that's the thing I want to say. I know it's old news, but whatever. So thank you very much to listen to this podcast. Listen to this podcast. If you want to follow me on social media, go on X, formerly Twitter, at Bally versus PMM. On Threads, Pascal _Mayada _15. Same thing on Instagram. Pascal _Mayada _15. So that's where you can follow me on social media. If you want to follow me if you want to listen to this podcast, like I said, you can listen to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcast Manager or Castbox, and on Amazon Music. So maybe one day I'll release it on Twitter. Not on Twitter, but on YouTube one day. But I will really going to think about it. So thank you very much for listening to this podcast, and have a great week.